Hello, it's Monica from Crafting with Quilling Lady, and hope you have absolutely wonderful day. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to use small stamps to create very unique and pretty backgrounds. And for my projects today, I decided to use a free gift from Creative Stamping Magazine issue 109. On page 11, you can find my project, and if you're interested in it, I left the link in the top right corner. A few weeks ago, I got this beautiful stamp set collection, but I was missing one stamp. I contacted Creative Stamping straight away, and they sent me a brand new stamp set collection. So thank you so much, and today is the day to actually use the missing stamp, because I think it is so pretty, and I decided to actually use it to create my own backgrounds. I've got 9.5 by 20.5 centimeter panel, and this one is 300 GSM white card. We're going to do some heat embossing. So first I'm going to use anti-static bag, and I'm going to use Versamark ink for the first card. And this is very crucial. As you can see, I've got a grid on my mat, so I'm trying to find the middle point of my card, which is halfway through it. And if you don't have a grid, you can always use a ruler. And now we're going to use some gold embossing powder. I really like it, and when I finished that project, I thought, oh, it actually looks like stained glass window effect. And I do wonder, how often do you use heat embossing in your card making? Please let me know. I think it is so beautiful, and it adds so much to our projects. Now I'm going to stamp that missing stamp with beautiful florals, and I'm going to create continuous background panel. And yes, you can do it. If you don't have this stamp set collection, have a look if you have any shapes that you can use and repeat to get beautiful color variation and interest on your card. You don't have to do heat embossing. You can literally use any inks from your stash, and I do encourage you to do it. As you can see, I put that square again to make sure that it actually fills the whole page. And if you have any excess of the embossing powder, just use a dry paintbrush. This is the easiest way to get rid of it. And now it is time to heat set it, and at this point I really liked it, but I thought let's add a little bit more images so we can actually fill in the whole space here. And that's exactly what I did. So again, I use my anti-static bag, and I'm using my Versamark ink, and we're going to do a little bit of heat embossing again using the same gold powder. And I do wonder if you have your favorite black or gold embossing powder. What is the brand? Please let me know. And also, all the names of the products I use in today's video, you can check in the description down below. I also created one more project with this beautiful stamp set collection, and I created a hexagonal easel card. If you haven't seen that, check it. The link is in the top right corner. As you can see, I stamped exactly the same image as I've got in the halfway through my project, and to color in all my images, I'm going to use zig markers. As you can see, they are very beautiful colors, and for this project I decided let's have limited color palette. Of course, in the end I had to add a few more colors, but I really tried hard to stick with some blues, pinks, and later on I had to add some purple. I literally just couldn't resist. As you can see, I'm applying a tiny bit of color on my project, and using my wet paintbrush I'm spreading the color around. And if you don't have zig markers, use aqua markers, coloring pencils, literally whatever you want. But what I really like about any aqua markers, watercolor markers, or pencils even, that when you use a wet paintbrush you spread the color, and you can get really beautiful color variations, especially with the darker and lighter tones. And if you have never tried aqua markers or watercolor markers, maybe today is the day, especially with heat embossing, because that heat embossing resists the color. So it is very tricky to go over the line. But if you do go over the line, don't worry. You can wet your paintbrush, leave a drop of water, and then wait for 5 seconds and use a tissue to lift off that color. It is super simple, and no one will ever know that you had that color where you didn't want it. As you can see, I'm trying to fill all the spaces, but I'm leaving the beautiful focal element blank at the moment, because when we did the stamping, which you can see at the top, I'm going to put that in the middle, and I'm going to use some double-sided foam adhesive just to make sure it has a little bit more dimension. And as I told you, I really think that this particular background looks like stained glass window effect, and if you do agree with me, let me know in the comments down below. And I wonder, have you actually tried that stained glass window effect in your card making? Or if you haven't, how would you like to try it? What products would you like to use? Now it is time to add a little bit more green, especially on the leaves, and again I'm spreading that color with wet paintbrush, and it is nearly done. Also, I had to add that color in the corners as well, because we do want our project to be beautiful, and it is the way to actually create the beautiful background panels. And what's really good about this particular free stamp set collection called Versatiles, that you can use it over and over again, and every single time you will have completely different backgrounds. And as I said before, if you don't have these stamp sets, maybe you have some shapes or even flowers or anything else, or butterflies, just stamp them repeatedly and color them in with any medium you want. You would be really happy with everything you create, and I do encourage you, create it and please share it, so leave the link in the comments down below. As you can see, I just couldn't resist, I had to add some purple, and let me know, what do you think about this color palette so far? Do you like it, or do you think it is a little bit too much, and do you actually think it matches the gold embossing powder? So when this is ready, I'm going to use my scissors to cut my focal element, and as you probably guessed, so far we don't have a sentiment, but don't worry, we're going to do some gold heat embossing as well. And to add a little bit more interest, I had a look at my stash and I found this ribbon. Actually, I got it for Christmas. One of my presents was wrapped in that ribbon, and I thought, it is perfect. It is perfect for any card making. So I saved it, and today is the day to use it. I really like how the gold edge matches my gold heat embossing. So I thought it is perfect. Now I'm going to use a 3mm red liner tape from Crafter's Companion, and using a pokey tool, first I'm burnishing it on the back, and then I'm trying to peel off the backing. It is really tricky on a ribbon, so if you have any suggestion how can I make it easier for myself, please let me know. So as you can see, I'm going to add more ribbon on the card. I'm going to have 2 pieces at the bottom and 1 at the top. And when this is ready, then we can actually add some double-sided tape on our focal element. And this way, it will be beautiful. And I do wonder how often these ribbons in your card making, and if you do use them, what is your preferred, let's say, way of applying them? Do you like them in the corners, or maybe at the top and the bottom, as I did here? Now I'm using my one and only liquid glue, Magic Glue, to put that panel on my card base, and as you can see, we are creating a DL size card. So with these stamps you can create square cards, rectangular cards, or like in my previous video, even hexagonal cards. So have a look what you can create with it. And if you do have that stamp set collection, let me know what you've created, because I'm really curious and I'm still looking for some inspiration. When this is ready, it is time for a sentiment, and I chose Celebrate Your Day because I really like that font. It is very beautiful, and I think it really matches the florals here. And this stamp set collection with sentiments was designed by Luke Collins from Craftstash, and I think this is beautiful. I really like it, and it matches the stamp set beautifully. I love it. So when this is ready, we have to use our scissors to cut our sentiment, and I thought at this point I like it, but would it be a good idea to use a little bit of gold mirror card? And that's exactly what I did for the sentiment. And this is the easiest way to save your scraps, because don't throw them away. You can always use those small bits, as I'm doing here. So please, please save all those beautiful design papers you've got and background panels. You can still use them for some of the elements on your cards. Now it is time to put the elements on the card. As you can see, I'm using some double-sided foam adhesive. I'm peeling it off with my pokey tool, and it is time to add a few drops of liquid glue because we don't want it to move around, because when it dries, it will dry clear. And it is time for a couple of gold gems, and our first project is finished. So let me know, what do you think about this technique? For the second card, again, I've got 9.5 by 20.5 centimeter background panel from 300 GSM white card, and this time I decided to use that hexagonal foliage beautiful stamp. And this time I'm going to use 4 pigment inks from Spectrum Noir, and I've got Spring Meadow, Grasshopper, Green Topaz, and Lagoon. As you can see, I'm applying 2 colors on the stamp, and I'm just repeating the pattern. Super quick, beautiful, and yes, use all those inks from your stash. I do encourage you, have a look what you've got. Use it. You can always use some Distress Oxide inks as well. The choice is absolutely yours. This time I really wanted to use what I haven't used in the very long time. So yes, opaque pigment inks it is this time. When all these are ready, with pigment inks, when you put some klej embossing powder, it gives you such a beautiful shine, and that's exactly what I wanted to achieve here. And if you don't want to use klej embossing powder, you have to leave that panel for a very long time to dry. So first, you save your time but using klej embossing powder, and it will give you that beautiful interest on your card. And as you can see, I created that panel very quickly. So use any inks from your stash and then klej embossing powder, because with heat embossing you don't really need that many colors. Literally, klej embossing powder is what you need, and gold, of course. Now it is time to add a little bit more interest, so I decided to use another square with beautiful floral image, and again we're going to do some heat embossing with gold embossing powder. And this time I thought I love green, but green and purple and white, ha! That is a good combo. I couldn't resist, so that's exactly what I use for this project. I think green and purple just work so well together. I literally couldn't resist. That's why I did it. And I stamped this sentiment. And again, it is time to do some heat embossing. And when this is done, yes, again, I'm going to use my zig markers, because what I really like about them, they've got very nice thin tip, and this is perfect for very small and beautiful images. So yes, it is time to use our scissors to cut our elements, and as you can see, it is not a square, it's like a rhombus here. I love it. It works so well with those hexagons. And with the sentiment, again, I'm going to use a little bit of gold mirror card to back it, but I'm going to do it later on. First, I'm going to color in my flowers with beautiful green and purple. And if you haven't used any green and purple together, maybe today is the day. And let me know, what do you think when you use those colors together? So yes, again, I'm using very nice fine paintbrush, and I'm spreading the water literally to mix and blend the colors. Super quick and beautiful, and it is so easy with heat embossing. When our sentiment is ready, it is time to start putting all the elements together, but first I stamped and colored in those leaves. I thought they would work so well with those green hexagons here. and I did it off camera. It didn't take me that long because again I used those zig markers. I had to add a little bit of green ribbon, and as you can see it was not long enough, but that's fine. I actually put it together and I added some double-sided foam adhesive on the back, and it is time to put our card together. And this card was super quick to make. It took me about 15 minutes to do it. So I do encourage you, use your stamps, use your opaque pigment inks or distress oxide inks to create patterns. You'll be very surprised how quickly these cards come together. When these elements are ready, I thought let's add a little bit of double-sided foam adhesive and those leaves, because I really wanted to have some dimension on this card, and doing it this way, it looks so amazing in real life. And I do wonder, have you actually ever created a card using the same stamp but repeating it? If you have, please let me know what was it, because I really want to know. As you can see, I'm just adding those leaves on the left and on the right. I'm just trying to create, let's say, some kind of wreath for extra interest. It is super simple and quick. And when this is ready, again, I'm going to add a few drops of my one and only liquid glue, magic glue. First of all, you do have time to maneuver all the elements and it dries clear. And it is time to add a few gold gems, and as you can see I put them in the corners around my floral element and also in the corners of a sentiment. And now you can see two cards side by side, and I do wonder which one is your favorite. Which one do you prefer? Thank you so much for watching and spending that time with me. Don't forget to like this video, give the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And don't forget that every Monday and Thursday I've got videos on my channel. Have a wonderful day and happy crafting!